What's up, June bugs? This is your girl Deja, and I'm here to share with you all a custom shoe design project that you all can possibly do with your students or with your family members. This shoe design project, there are a couple of materials that are included within this bundle, which are 12 pieces that serve as a template. So for example, this is the bottom sole, this is the tongue of the shoe. The ending product of this shoe template will create a high top Converse looking shoe. I will have the link placed down below to help you all in doing this project. I also want to give a huge shout out to Buddha Studios because they inspired me to create this project. So first and foremost, there are some materials that you all will need. You will need one, the shoe templates, which is right here, okay? You will also need cardstock. You can grab this from your local supply store such as Hobby Lobby or Walmart, Trader Joe's, etc. You will also need some colors. In this case, I have some watercolors here that I'm going to use to create my design. These are the watercolors. We'll also need some scissors for this project. You will need Scotch tape or hot glue. In my case, I have hot glue, and of course you cannot have your hot glue gun without hot glue sticks, so I have that as well. You will need string for your shoelaces, and you will also need a single hole punch. My shoe is based around Louisiana's culture and food cuisine. So here in Louisiana, we love to eat crawfish, shrimp, potatoes, boiled eggs, and etc. So that is what I'm going to base my shoe around, just to, celebrate the culture that we have here in Louisiana. Step 1, have students or family members to pre-sketch their design to ensure that you all have some direction as to where you're going to go with your tennis shoe design. Me personally, I have been practicing drawing corn and potatoes, celery, boiled eggs, as well as crawfish because my design is going to be based around Louisiana cuisine. Your second step would be to cut out all of the pieces that are located within the PDF file to ensure that you are able to use these pieces as a stencil to create your entire shoe. I've also taken it a step further and laminated these pieces, so that way when my students are to use these pieces, they are able to easily trace the templates and replicate the design, but of course in their own way and own right. So I also labeled the back. There are several different pieces. So for example, this one is called Right Side. I just made sure that I added the name on the back so that I can have all 12 pieces for my shoe design. So step number 3 will be to trace all of your shoe templates onto the color desired, and then you're going to create your design on that particular piece that you trace. As you all can see, my shoe, I'm so 225. I have colors that represent the Louisiana cuisine here. So being that I don't have any brown paper, I am going to use my watercolors to paint some potatoes onto my white paper. My red paper will be used to create my Nike check. And I'm also going to add a crawfish within that Nike check using the red paper. The black paper will be used as my neutral color just to make my shoe look more clean and eccentric. I also have my yellow paper to represent the corn, and I'm going to use some watercolor to create the various different corn kernels on my yellow paper. So I'm about to go ahead and get into it. One thing that I failed to mention that you will need is a pencil, okay? You will need a pencil to trace. I'm going to show you all simply what I'm getting ready to do. Remember, my paper may be a little bit more stiffer. Remember, my paper may be a little bit more stiff than yours because I did laminate my template. Alright, so if you all are wondering what I'm doing right now, I am actually going ahead and I'm tracing all of my pieces onto my cardstock because this is the step that you need in order to make sure that you have all of the pieces to create your shoe, because at the end we're going to cut all of this out. So with my color sheets, I am going to trace them twice so that way I can glue the black pieces together first and then add the color pieces on top just for extra stability. So if you're interested in doing that, you can do that. And just to stay organized and keep up with how many I'm tracing and what I traced and what I did not trace, I'm just putting all the ones that I did trace inside of the bucket. I'm not sure if you all can see that on camera, but I'm putting the ones that I did trace inside of the bucket so that I can keep up with what I did trace and what I did not trace. Step number 4. Step number 4 consists of you cutting out all of the pieces that you have traced. Now, because I am using a hot glue gun, I'm also going to take this time to plug it up so that it is warm and I can go ahead and tape everything together. Now remember, if you're using tape, you will not have to do this step, but being that I have a hot glue gun, I'm going to go ahead and plug it up. Also, a great deal of advice is to stay organized. If you make a mess, it's going to get hectic and you're going to forget which pieces go where and which pieces are what. So I would even suggest, really take your time to keep your area very nice, neat, and organized. I'm putting all of my paper in my leftover bucket so that way I can go back and use some of the scrap paper if needed. Fifth step, you're going to take your left hand side, your right hand side, and your heel template, and you're going to glue all of these together. Now the key to doing this is making sure that your pieces are lined up at the bottom before you glue them. Next step, you're going to take your heel piece and you're going to glue it along the bottom part. This is the hardest part, so really take your time with this. I'm going to speed up the process and glue very, very slow so that way I don't have any more problems as I continue on with the construction of this shoe. Starting with the back of the shoe, and I'm slowly pressing the shoe down and pushing the glue so that way the glue can stick. The glue can adhere to the bottom of the sole. Alright, so this part is done here. And I'm going to repeat the process on all of the sides. This is just a progress shot so you all are able to see. I'm literally taking the glue and I am slowly pushing it along the edge so that way it can have more of a shoe form. Okay, I'm trying to show y'all up close this time. Hold on one second. Let me do it. Alright, so I put a little bit of glue there, right there. And now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to push it along the edge so that way the glue is nice and adhered and sturdy. This is what it should look like after step number 6. Okay, that is what it should look like after step number 6. All right, step number 7. We are going to take our toe cover, which is this piece here, okay, and we're going to glue it on this top piece here. Now you should make sure that it is parallel to your sole, so that way when it is time to glue everything together, it is nice and flat, okay? So that is what I'm getting ready to do right now. I'm gonna actually cut this because it is getting on my nerves, to be quite honest with you. So I am going to cut it. Okay, I'm gonna cut it like this for right now. Glue, and I am going to put my tongue in here, like so. Okay, tongue is in. This is the rough draft version of the shoe until I add all of the details. So now I'm getting ready to go ahead and create my corn on the cob design for the siding of my shoe. So remember when we traced it twice, that was why, because I'm gonna go ahead and paint these various pieces so that way I can paste it onto my rough draft of my shoe. Remember, the black part, or these black pieces, are only to add that stability and comfort, so that way when I, hold my shoe, it doesn't fall to pieces. It's pretty sturdy, I would say so myself. Shake test. Looks pretty sturdy to me, okay? Now to make this corn on the cob design, if you are, interested in doing this design, I'm literally making C shapes to create the corn kernels on my design, and I'll show you what it looks like once I finish the first row. Alright, so as y'all can see, I'm back. I created my drawings, and now the next thing that I need to do is add my watercolor to make my corn and my crawfish and potatoes look more 3D. These are my corns here. These are my potatoes here, and then we also have our crawfish right here that says, "Oh yeah, baby, 225." We also have our Nike checks that say "So 225" with our crawfish inside. Okay, so I just wanted to show y'all what we have so far, and now I'm about to get ready to bust this paint open so that I can start painting. All right, go ahead and speed up this process so that you all can see what I'm doing. Taking my razor blade here. If you have a razor blade at home, please make sure, if you are a kid, do not use that razor blade by yourself. Ask a parent, please, because I want you to be safe. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and bust open my paint. I have my watercolor here and my water, of course, because watercolor is activated by water. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with my potatoes first because I'm excited about these potatoes. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water on top of my potato shapes that I've already created. Remember, with watercolor, if you add more water, you get a lighter color. If you add less water, you get a darker brown. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lightly paint in all of my shapes. I'm getting excited now, y'all. These are my potatoes here. Alright, so right now all I'm doing is lacing up the shoe. I added the corn on the sides.